Well, let's get this journey started with. What's up, everyone? My name is Matt. Welcome to my channel. This is going to be a brand new channel where I'm going to be focusing on my journey in training for the New York City Marathon this upcoming November. Just a few quick things about my channel. This is more of an introductory video. This is mostly, I don't care if anyone really watches this. This is mostly just for me in the next few years to go back on and look on and reminisce on this journey, because I mean, it's not every day that someone gets to run the New York City Marathon. It's a whole process that get put into it. For those who don't know, I had to enter a lottery, and this was my first year entering the lottery, and luckily I was able to get accepted. Usually you're talking about a 10-12% chance of getting accepted every year in the lottery. Hundreds of thousands of people put their name into it, and only about 20,000 or so out of the 50,000 field size get selected through the lottery. Everyone else gets selected through charities, through the elite runners, proof of qualifying times. There's many other ways, but in the actual lottery system itself, not many people get accepted that way. So just a quick intro to what I'm going to be expecting. This is going to be for a marathon. I've ran one marathon already, which was San Francisco last year on my birthday, on September 19th, for my 26th birthday. I thought it'd be really cool to run 26 miles for 26 years. And I picked a very interesting course for my very first marathon. I chose San Francisco for those who don't know, is a very hilly city, but it was great. A lot of elevation change. I think I was over about 2,000 feet or so in elevation change throughout the whole race. I got to run over the Golden Gate Bridge, which was really cool. I saw some really nice, amazing sights. So because of that race, I kind of know what to expect going into New York City. New York City is not going to be as strenuous, in my opinion, in terms of elevation as in San Francisco, but it will have its own challenges. Now that I've already gone through marathon training before, I know what to expect, and I know what I can do differently. This is going to be a 16-week program that I'm going into, starting off with very small. I think the longest run of my very first week is 6 miles, and I'll be going all the way down to, I think the longest run I'll be doing in the actual training itself will be a 22-mile run, which is about 4 weeks out before the marathon, before I start to taper down. For those who don't know, when you're training for a marathon, you increase your mileage and your long runs. I mean, you'll start with a 6-mile long run and go up to 7, 8, and just all the way up. And then not only that, but you're also increasing your weekly mileage. The very first week, I think I'm running 12 miles a week, which is nothing. And then it'll go up to 40 miles a week or so. It increases your mileage. And once you do your longest run, you start to taper back down. So like I said, I'll do a 22-mile run, and then right after that, it'll be a 17-mile, then a 12-mile, then a 7-mile. The week before the marathon, that's my long run, and then the next race you go and run run the race. The reason for that is because you want your legs to start healing, and I mean, running that long distance does take a lot of toll onto your legs. So you just want to be as fresh as possible for race day. So as far as shoes goes for the race, I do have 2 pairs that I will be training in. In my very first marathon, I used the Brooks Adrenalins, the 21 version. Now I'm going to be doing it into Asics, the Guides 2000s, the 10th version. They're very great, comfortable, nice, absorbent ride when you're running in these. I love them. I went up to iRun, Texas, and had them hook me up with some good shoes, fit me, get all the work. So I'm excited to see how these are going to do during training. Just right off the bat, between the 2 pairs that I'm going to be training in, I think these are the ones I'm going to want to do my race in, just because of how comfortable a ride they feel. The other shoe that I'll be training in will be the Brooks Adrenaline. Exact same one I ran my last marathon in, except the only difference is that this is going to be the 22nd version versus the 21st. So it's the newer model. Also a different color. I've had this shoe now 3 times I've had it in the black. I've had it in the white and black, which is probably my favorite, and then now this like grayish, orange, bluish color that honestly, personally, I'm not such a big fan of, but it was what they had, and at the end of the day, I mean, it's more about comfort than like overall style, but still a good shoe. I do wear stability shoes when I run just because I do overpronate, so I do like to get that balance in. Now this one also has a little more of a cushion, but it's not as cushiony as the Asics, so I will be able to feel more of the road on this one versus the other one. And the reason for people who don't know about why you want to alternate between 2 different shoes during training is because when you're running, you're using different muscles with different shoes just because they fit your foot differently. So it kind of gives some muscles different breaks while running. Also, because your shoes have all this foam inside, and for how much you're running, you need to be able to give your shoes a rest and let that foam basically expand it back out, being crushed over, you know, the past however long you're running. So that's the main advantage of wearing 2 shoes. Now I did want to show this right here, which is really cool. This is a gift that was given to me from my friend Vince, and it's basically just a bib holder. You'll have all the bibs I've ever worn throughout races. It's separated from 5Ks in the back to 10Ks to the beach to bay relay marathons to my half marathons that I've ran in, and then in the very front is the full San Francisco marathon, and then just different medals. As most of y'all know, 5Ks really don't give out medals. If they did, I would have a bunch more, but these are mostly all my long distance medals. Got, you know, the half marathon, which is a belt buckle from Austin Half, you know, some more half marathons. This is the full marathon one right here, which is really cool. Another half marathons, the beach to bay half marathon, the turkey trot back over here. The rock and roll is my very first ever half marathon. I ran that a week before I graduated college. I decided to make the jump up to the marathon, to the half marathon distance, and once I did that race, it got me hooked on the longer distances from just standardly doing your 5Ks and 10Ks, and immediately, like I said, I was hooked, and that's what ultimately made me want to do the full marathon. So for those of y'all who are wondering, yes, I do have it on my fridge, my New York City marathon training plan. As you see, it's labeled up here. It starts on July 18th, and it'll be going all the way till race day on November 6th, which it ends with the race. And then there's just so many. As you can see, literally it's broken up day by day, what each one's gonna be doing, and then what the longest miles are. Saturdays are gonna be my long run days. So as you see, it starts with like 6, it goes all the way down. Half marathon right there, 16 miles, half marathon, 18, 20, 22. I also do prescribe by the taper method, which will mean, as you see, as I go up, I'm going like 6, 7, 8. I build up, and then I go back down to like a 10K, 10, 12, 14, then I go back down to half, 16, you know, half, 18, 20, 22. It just helps keeps your legs fresh, and that way you're not always constantly adding miles to them. That was one thing that I did during the San Francisco marathon that helped me out a lot, and so that's what I plan to do again for New York. So one more cool thing before I begin marathon training this Monday. I am going to be running a 5K on Saturday. It's the Foam Glow. This is a non-chipped event, so basically there is no set time that you're going to be timed on. You can take your watch and time yourself, which I'm going to take my watch, my Garmin. It's the Forerunner 245 for those who are wondering. This is what I'll be using as well during training. Take it, you time yourselves, and then you can go about that way. With it being so close to marathon training, I don't think I'm going to go push as hard. I'm definitely not going to go for a PR. But, I mean, I'm going to be running with some friends, so I'll just keep up with their pace. If they decide to go fast, I'll go run with them. If they're going to slow it down, I'll just do as slow as they want. It's more of just a fun run. Go out there, have some fun, have a fun, nice Saturday night running. So that's basically it. The way I plan on running this channel is, initially I think I want to start once a week just to build up to it. That way I can have some content. And yeah, so if you decide you like this, you want to see what it's like, my journey throughout, all the way up to New York and even into New York, just follow along, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next week.